We like to pretend that the ladies and fellas of professional wrestling are all badass brawlers, but some are less Saturday night's alright for fighting, and more I'm still standing. Face it, it takes some big theater kid energy to see an outfit like this and be like, yep, that's the one. I mean, my goodness. Just take a look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake, the Bionic Redneck, the toughest SOB in the WWE, but deep down, all he really wants to do is bust out a tune, and he was terrible at it. Kudos to him for singing like nobody was listening, but we were. At least he had the good sense to not try to release an album. You know, unlike these guys. I'm Singer Siete for 7 Wrestling. Let's take a look at 7 wrestlers who released terrible music. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and sleeper hold that notification bell. Alright, a few ground rules before we get into this mess. First of all, we're not talking about albums where Vince McMahon is trying to make a quick buck. We're talking about WWE superstars who thought, oh, I definitely have some musical talent and also want to make a quick buck. We're not counting WWE release CDs like Pile Driver or WWE Originals because it just feels like it'd be way too easy. Although, including Rikishi's Slow Jam Put a Little Ass on It is very tempting. Second, no wrestlers singing their own theme music, even though I will argue Sexy Boy is the greatest song of all time with the worst lyrics. And third, I obviously don't have the rights to play any of this music, so I'll include links in the description below, but listen at your own peril. Number 1, I'm Your Man. Halloween Havoc 1996 was notable for a couple reasons. First of all, the main event featured Hulk Hogan defending the WCW title against Randy Savage, and it started off with Hogan wearing a hairpiece and cutting a promo that highlights his upcoming motion picture, Santa with Muscles. Savage would make an equally bizarre entrance wearing a fully branded Slim Jim costume and being led to the ring by a Slim Jim monster truck with a giant cowboy hat. And if you need a little extra on that weird, ring announcer Michael Buffer would refer to Savage as one of professional wrestling's classiest stars. Now, I'm not disagreeing with him, brother, but classiest wrestling star in the 90s was a low, low bar. Maybe we should just be glad that Buffer didn't call him Brett Clark. Sorry, back on topic. It's probably most remembered for what happened after the match when Roddy Piper would come out, thus making his WCW debut. He and Hogan would get into it with the point being hammered home that Roddy Piper was the one man that Hulk Hogan had never defeated. After that, they'd weirdly act like they didn't know what Piper wanted. Fortunately, Detective Bischoff would uncover a clue from a 1992 music video that Roddy Piper had released that Bischoff claimed was a big hit in Europe. This song was called I'm Your Man. And on the November 11th, 1996 episode of Monday Nitro, they played the whole damn thing. The point was that during the video there's a sign that's shown in the background that highlights a Roddy Piper versus Hulk Hogan match. They'd use this to say that Piper has wanted this match for years. But my goodness, Eric Bischoff, don't bury the lead, buddy. Roddy Piper tried to become a pop star. Yes, I'm Your Man was the Hot Rod's attempt to break into music back in 1992. It was a UK exclusive video, and it's not good. Sample lyric being, if you're looking for someone that'll treat you right, never cheat on you, never tell you lies, honey, if that's your plan, I'm your man. Start off with the Hot Scott doing some boxing interspersed with clips of him giving us the dreamiest bedroom eyes. Wow, he is really trying to eye-f*** us, isn't he? Someone's about to get pregnant. From there, it's off to the beach with his lady love. I'm assuming this isn't his wife, Kitty, because they have absolutely zero chemistry together. No kissing, just hugs and high fives, although that is a very sensual high five. The song ends and Piper tells us that he's not New Kids on the Block, he's the whole block. Classic Piper. Wait, I'm sorry, did Bischoff say this was a big hit in Europe? Surely there is no way that is true. However, After some research, in particular, the December 12th, 1992 edition of Hit Music, which covers the UK charts, you'll find Roddy Piper's I'm Your Man in 82nd place below Mary J. Blige's Real Love and tied with Shy's If I Ever Fall in Love. Piper tied with Shy? That was a junior high school dance staple. At any rate, this whole process has been pretty fascinating. I wonder who else was on the charts at this time. Let's see, we've got Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson. Wait. No. Number 2, Be a Man. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around WWE superstars having such a high-placing song on the UK charts. Oh, and speaking of this guy, while Piper was telling all the ladies that he could be their man, Randy Savage was telling someone very specific to be a man. And that somebody was Hulk Hogan. And maybe even more amazing than that is the medium with which Savage decided to send this message was rap. Rap music. You know, the stuff Curt Hennig hates. That's right, in 2003, the cream of the crop released a full rap album called Be a Man. How on earth did we end up with such a odd clash of things? The album was the brainchild of Big Three's founder Bill Edwards, who conceived the idea during a business meeting in St. Petersburg, Florida. As he was leaving, he bumped into Savage, and the idea of Savage bars immediately struck him. The duo came to an agreement, and a quartet of production people known as the Rascals were tasked with teaching a 51-year-old Slim Jim salesman how to rap. And how'd they do? Well, the titled song is a diss track aimed at Hulk Hogan. And as far as diss track goes, let's say it's No Not Like Us. Here's a sample lyric. They call you Hollywood, don't make me laugh, because your movies and your acting skills are both trash. Your movie straight to video, the box office can't stand, while I got myself a feature role in Spider-Man. Well, certainly not wrong. It's also the kind of product that's going to use the word butt when most rap albums would say ass. Kinda hard to look tough when you're threatening to kick someone's butt. Potato. Edwards reasoned with Savage notoriety and popularity that simply being the Macho Man would draw enough people to make the record a success. He was wrong. This train wreck sold about 15,000 copies. An interesting footnote to this whole debacle, though, is that the last track on Savage's album, ironically, a tribute to noted rap hater Curt Hennig, called Perfect Friend, sounds eerily similar to Justin Timberlake's smash hit Cry Me a River. So was Justin a closet Randy Savage fan who swiped his beat for his own? We'll never know. But I'm thinking definitely yes. Number 3, Hulkster in Heaven. Oh, come on. He's had a cameo in every entry we've done so far. We've got to give the Hulk Hogan Wrestling Boot Band some love, brother. All right, we give the Hulkster a pretty hard time here, and, rightfully so. You got the constant lying, the behind-the-scenes shenanigans, the racism. Take it from a former reformed Hulkamaniac, he's a tough guy to love these days, but you gotta respect the guy's hustle. If there's a way to make a buck, he is in. You see it today with his Real American Beer. We've talked about the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Grill, Hulk Hogan Thunder Mixer, and Hostamania? I'm sorry, sometimes I stumble onto things while researching. Hostamania is apparently a Hulk Hogan-endorsed web hosting service. There was an ad where Hogan rides in a wrecking ball, Miley Cyrus style. Oh, and he's wearing a thong. You could thank me later for blurring that for you. Let's remember that one day for another list, shall we? Back to music. In 1995, Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band released an album called Hulk Rules. This music act apparently featured actual musician Jimmy Mouth of the South Heart and the Hulkster's then wife Linda. Oh, the greats always have to let their wife Linda into the band. Hulk Rules was made up of a variety of Hulk Hogan-themed tunes. You might even recognize a few of them, as American Made was Hulk Hogan's WCW theme, and Dave Sullivan briefly came to the ring to I Want to Be a Hulkamaniac during the most embarrassing part of his career. Maybe Eugene wasn't so bad. The Hulk Rules album is mostly filled with over-the-top, cheesy, upbeat rock tracks promoting Hulkamania, but there's one song that feels out of place with its slow, somber style, and that song is Hulkster in Heaven. In this heartfelt ballad, Hogan sings about a young fan who was terminally ill and passed away before getting to see him wrestle. It goes a little something like this. I read it in the papers, I saw it on TV, I guess there'll be one empty seat when I wrestle at Wembley. I used to tear my shirt, but now you've torn my heart. I knew you were a Hulkamaniac right from the very start. You are my friend, I'll see you again. When the Hulkster comes to heaven, we'll tag up again. Do you just rhyme again and again? Sorry. Hogan would talk about the inspiration behind the song in Muscle and Health magazine, saying, I was in Wembley Stadium and I saw a lot of Make-A-Wish kids. It was me, Michael Jackson, Mr. T. It was all the Make-A-Wish kids during the 80s and 90s. I had a kid there that was in rough shape. The MTs were with him, and he was on a stretcher, and his body odor and stuff, it had a smell to it that I hadn't smelled in a while. Not bad, but it was just a different type of smell. I really wasn't sure what it was, and the parents were freaking out. They were Hulkamaniacs. I told the doctors and EMTs, the kid is in kind of trouble here, so let me say my goodbyes and give him a hug and kiss him. Got a nice place for him out at ringside at Wembley Stadium, and it was all roped off, so I went to wrestle, and I kept looking, and the kid wasn't there. So when I came back from wrestling, I was the last person to wrestle in the main event. I said, what happened to the family out there? They said the kid had passed away. So when I found out the kid passed away, my manager Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South, he used to be in a band too. He had a couple of #1 hit songs here in the States, and I played music before. So we stayed up all night and we wrote 12 songs for the kid's family. I didn't know anyone in the UK, and Jimmy knew somebody from Select Records, and they got a hold of Simon Cowell. He produced a little album for us, and it went #1 on Billboard for 8 weeks, and we donated the money to the family. But as is the case with a lot of Hulk Hogan stories, this one is simply riddled with lies. Hogan never worked with Michael Jackson, he never wrestled at Wembley Stadium, his album never went to #1 on Billboard. Is the thing about the kid true? Maybe. Next to John Cena, he's probably the wrestler who's granted the most Make-A-Wish appearances. However, in classic Hogan style, he has to take something that's actually kind of nice and riddle it with easily fact-checked lies. Lies so ridiculous that we're overlooking the theory that Hulk Hogan can actually smell death. Number 4. World's Greatest Wrestler. Jerry the King Lawler is the undisputed legend in Memphis wrestling. He became the heart and soul of the city's wrestling scene, rising to prominence in the 1970s. His matches at the Mid-South Coliseum were just the stuff of legend, consistently drawing sellout crowds and making Memphis one of the hottest wrestling territories in the country. With his sharp in-ring ability, undeniable charisma, and gift for storytelling, Lawler helped shape Memphis wrestling into a spectacle unlike any other. And beyond the ring, Lawler's legendary status was cemented with his famous 1982 feud with comedian Andy Kaufman, which blurred the lines between reality and entertainment. Their infamous encounter on Late Night with David Letterman, where Lawler slapped Kaufman out of his chair, became one of wrestling's most iconic mainstream moments. And even after moving on to national prominence as a WWE commentator, Lawler remained a Memphis icon, continuously returning to his home turf for special matches and events. His impact on the city's wrestling culture is unparalleled, earning him a reputation as the true king of Memphis wrestling, a title no one can dispute. Beyond his legendary wrestling career, Jerry the King Lawler is also an incredibly talented artist. Before stepping into the ring, Lawler honed his skills as a comic book-style illustrator, even earning a break in wrestling by trading his artwork for free tickets to matches. Over the years, he has continued to showcase his artistic talent, creating stunning portraits of wrestlers, celebrities, and pop culture icons. His work has been featured in WWE projects, custom merchandise, and even special edition comic books. Lawler would even release some music with an album creatively titled Jerry Lawler Sings, that featured cover songs such as Winger 17, The Stray Cats' Sexy at 17, and Katy Perry's Teenage Dream. Just kidding. It's more like the Rolling Stones' classic Heart of Stone. That was the kind of music he was singing. He'd followed it up with a second album entitled Jerry Lawler and the Nunnery Brothers Band, which included the song The World's Greatest Wrestler. This rocking tune starts off with him saying, "Born and raised in Memphis, this is where I'll stay. Tell all the women Jerry Lawler's on the way." What? Come on. I already made a Jerry Lawler is creepy around women joke. At any rate, if you think Jerry Lawler is wrestling's true triple threat with skills in the ring, at the art easel, and in the recording studio, well, to quote Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Number 5, We Hate School. Terry Funk is just wrestling royalty. He embodies the spirit of everything that makes the sport great: toughness, storytelling, innovation, an unbreakable spirit. Over a career that has spanned more than 50 years, Funk reinvented himself multiple times, evolving from a traditional NWA champion in the 1970s to a wild, brawling, hardcore icon in the 90s. His ability to adapt to different eras and styles just set him apart, as he could have a technical classic one night and a brutal deathmatch the next. Funk's feuds with Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, and Mick Foley are the stuff of legend, filled with raw emotion and unforgettable moments. His work in Japan and ECW helped pioneer the hardcore wrestling movement, influencing generations of wrestlers who admired his fearless, never-say-die attitude. And even in his later years, Funk continued to wrestle, proving that his passion for the business was unmatched. Few wrestlers have given as much to the sport as Terry Funk, making him one of the most respected and beloved figures in wrestling history. But to a lot of people, he's just the guy that showed up in a lot of 80s movies. His most famous role came in the 1989 cult classic Roadhouse, where he played Morgan, a bouncer at the Double Deuce, who clashes with Patrick Swayze's character Dalton. Beyond Roadhouse, Funk had a variety of roles in both film and television, often playing enforcers, bodyguards, or outlaws. He appeared in Paradise Alley, a Sylvester Stallone-directed wrestling drama where he played a brutal grappler named Frankie the Thumper. He also appeared in arguably the best arm wrestling movie of all time, Over the Top. Oh, Terry Funk was also in an episode of the original Quantum Leap. Oh, friggin' amazing show, kids. Check it out if you've got the time. Adding yet another layer to his larger-than-life persona, in 1984, he released an album in Japan titled Great Texan, which showcased his love for country music. And you know how Terry Funk kinda talks like this? Well, imagine that singing. Also, imagine he's singing a song about how much he hates school. Here's a sample of the lyrics. My teacher don't like my music, and she don't like my clothes. Up your nose with the rubber hose. I'd like to shove her where the sun don't go, 'cause we hate school, but we love rock and roll. I started watching wrestling in 1988, and Terry Funk was old then. So to imagine him as like a disgruntled teenager fighting for his right to party just hits me in the giggles. It was so hard to pick just one bad song off of that album because they're all pretty terrible. He even had one called Barbra Streisand's Nose. Number 6, Barbra Streisand's Nose. Screw it, it's my list, I'll do what I want. The pride of the Double Cross Ranch would also sing a song about the perfect woman who has but one flaw. Let's take a look, shall we? She had Brooke Shields' hair, you should have been there, boy was I surprised, Bo Derek's hips, and Mick Jagger's lips, and Farrah Fawcett's eyes, Dolly Parton's chest, you know that's the best, and Herschel Walker thighs. I was doing alright till I turned on the light. It was then I realized she had Barbra Streisand's nose. Oh my gosh. Also, all the thighs in the world to pick from, and he chose NFL legend Herschel Walker? Number 7, Bad Bad Man. Okay, I know this is a list of terrible music, but John Cena is actually pretty decent for a mid-2000s rap act. In 2005, Cena released his debut rap album, You Can't See Me, which was a certified platinum success. The album, featuring his WWE entrance theme, The Time Is Now, peaked at number 15 on the Billboard 200 and was well received by wrestling fans and rap enthusiasts alike. Despite the success, Cena never released a second full-length album. Over the years, he contributed to various soundtracks and made guest appearances on tracks, but You Can't See Me remains his only solo album, so he is one of the few artists in the history of music who went platinum on their debut and never followed it up with a second studio album. Now, for the purposes of this list, we're going to highlight the release of Bad Bad Man, that featured lyrics such as Your boy's a bad man, and we invade in the streets, make unclever rappers scared, they be dropping the heat, shock the world, now I'm standing alone. I flip fools like they're clamshell cellular phones. You see, kids, back then we had phones that kind of open and shut. And that's the first time I've ever used the term scared on this show. The song's fine, the video's amazing, with John Cena, Bumpy Knuckles, and the Trademark doing a parody of the 80s hit The A-Team. Why they couldn't have gotten Dolph Ziggler to play Templeton Faceman Peck, I'll never know. So is a bad man a bad song? Not really. If you don't like rap, you won't like it, but otherwise it's a fun, serviceable song from that era. What is a bad thing to come from this album is the fact that the cover photo was revealed long before the release date. This gaudy version of the WWE title was pretty horrific in its own right, and we later learn it was our first ever peek at the worst WWE title in modern history. Well, worst men's WWE title. Alright folks, there's our list. Did we forget any other wrestlers who released terrible music? If so, please leave them in the comments section below. If you would like to listen to any of this music, and I'm not sure you do, although I will admit I'm Your Man has been stuck in my head all week, there are links in the description below. Also, if you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and attitude adjust that notification bell. Till next time, I'm Singer Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.